Hello everyone, and thank you for coming back to yet another episode of The Gloving Paradigm. I am your host Peter, aka LPD8 Dubuque, and this week should be another fun week for us because we are going to kind of do a quick little revisit to a previous topic. But we're not just going to do a revisit, we're going to take a particular part of a subject matter and delve further into it.
Good thing I brought my vape.
And what is it that I'm going to be talking about? Very simple. If you guys recall when I went about the Laban's movement analysis,
No.
I did a quick overview on it. Well, now we're going to actually break down some of the parts that are into that. And the first thing I want to break down is probably the easiest one that gives me the shortest answer to do, apparently. Anyways.
A few moments later.
So yes, we're going to be breaking down the body, which is the category within the Laban's movement analysis that pretty much by definition is a category that describes the structural and physical characteristics of the human body while moving, which is very important for people to understand because it actually needs to be in movement for it to actually apply to this, because it's called the Laban's movement analysis.
Wow.
So yes, it describes which parts are moving, which parts are connected, and which parts are influenced by other parts. So, with that being said, what is all this tailing into? Well, very simply, we're going to try to take this thought process and apply it to gloving. Really not that hard, people. Alright, cool? Cool.
5 minutes later.
Alright, so yes, there are some subcategories of the body that exist as follows. You know, we have the initiation of the movement starting from specific bodies. We have the connection of different body parts to each other. We have the sequencing of movement between parts of the body and patterns of body organization and connectivity.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Those are your kind of subcategories when it comes to the body category of the Laban's movement analysis, okay?
Okay.
Yes, this is going to be one of those really short episodes because there's not a whole lot that we need to go into. It's really not that hard to understand when we actually talk about this particular category. So, when it comes to applying this to gloving, alright, what in gloving do we consider the body? What would be considered the body? Well, in this case, it would literally actually be the body in essence, because I know a lot of people are probably going to be sitting there going, okay, he's talking about the body, we're talking about gloving, so therefore he must be talking about just the hands. That's what I thought at first, but that's incorrect to think about. Because we are also talking about the connectivity of all the parts that are moving. So that does also include your wrists, your forearms, your arms, and your shoulders, and the rest of your body, essentially. Yes, that's still going to connect. Now, I will certainly say that, you know, your feet aren't as paramount to be included. However, I will certainly say that when it comes to this particular category and your feet placement and things like that, I would only kind of constitute that when it comes to you like standing and giving a performance. Yes, your foot placement is very important when it comes to actually giving a performance while standing.
This guy.
So, with that being said, when it comes to applying this to gloving, we just need to understand the categorization that goes on with this. Now, if you have no clue about any form of the anatomy of your hand, guess what? You can find that stuff on the internet. Look, here's a lovely little picture showing you what it kind of looks like. However, it would be remiss to me if I did not tell you guys, even though I've said this multiple times in multiple different episodes. Like, seriously, you guys, you have heard me say it so many times. If you guys not heard of this man yet, I'm going to be shocked, because if you've been in the gloving community for at least a month, you should have heard this name echoed throughout the online forums at least once. Greg Irwin. Yes, this person, he brought a nice little exercise health regiment when it comes to hands. Yes, he has his own entire website called handfitness.com, and it's all about promoting hand fitness and hand health. Okay, that's something I do need to stress, because every time I talk about Greg Irwin, the people only think about fitness, and it's like, that's not true. He does have a health section that he really actually breaks down how your hands work, how your ligaments in your hands work, all that stuff.
Wow!
So if you really want to break down how your hands work and everything within it in terms of the anatomy and physics, Greg Irwin did it for you. He did it for us all, and he wants to share this information with you guys. So please go check out handfitness.com. Go check out this website right here. Yeah, just check this right here. It's this lovely little thing right here.
3 days later.
Not as much as I'm trying to show for him, but I'm telling you guys, we have this information already. So anyways, yes. So knowing all the parts of your hands is one important thing, which is pretty simple. If you understand your fingers and then your digits and then the knuckles and your ligaments and things like that, you're pretty much good to go. The other part I will certainly say is knowing which parts are connected. Kind of gives you more of an intimate understanding of how you are going to go about your movements, okay? So knowing that your fingers are connected to the hand and your hands are connected to your wrist are connected, blah, 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 blah. Things that you learn in primary school, right?
Well, why you pulling me? I'm right.
So knowing how these work on a very intimate level, in my opinion, allows you to utilize the maximum ability of your movements. I swear to God, I hope I'm making sense. I know big words hurt people's brains sometimes, but that is literally how I can describe this. So, just understanding how everything's connected in that fashion does give you a better understanding of how you can go about making these movements. Especially when it comes to new concept creation, having that intimate knowledge of how your hands and other body parts move and are connected with each other and move in unison with each other, or in tandem with each other, or whatever word I'm thinking of that goes right in here. Anyways, yes. So understanding how parts of the body and your hands work in sequence and organizing them as such. So what do we mean by this exactly? Okay, so let's take the idea of a finger roll, right? We're going to take the very simple mechanic of a finger roll, and we're going to actually break down literally understanding the parts of how the hands move in sequence to each other. So when we come to like explaining a finger roll, it's pretty simple. We talk about fanning out a finger one at a time till all of them are open, and then closing them one at a time until they're all closed. That's how we are describing to somebody the organization of the sequences of movements that the body is taking. So my index finger, then my middle finger, then my ring, then my pinky, then my other pinky, then my other ring, then my other middle finger, then my other index, then my first index, first middle, first ring, first pinky, second ring, second middle, second index, boom. Like, that's me showing you the organization, that's showing you the categorization, that is showing you literally the sequencing, all that stuff. So when it comes to tutorials, and you're hearing them say things like that, they are literally showing you and telling you and describing to you the sequences of body parts that are moving in sequential order. Oh my God, I am saying so many words with hasses in it.
That was cute. I liked that. I liked that a lot.
Yes, that is basically how we need to understand when it comes to that.
Much later.
Now, when it comes to health maintenance, because yes, even with the Laban's movement analysis, they do talk about health and maintaining the health of your body in this category for a very specific reason. It's because your body does take wear and tear. If you have not taken any sense or any classes of PE during your junior high and high school, which don't see how that's even possible, considering that at least when I was in high school, that it was a requirement that you have one full credit of PE, whether that was regular PE, weight training, or some sports activity thing. Alright, yes. So when it comes to your health and maintenance of your hands, learning how these parts work also is a way to help keep them healthy. A very good example is, like, as weird as this is gonna sound, when it comes to like the world, the strongman competitors.
We know you're a little slut.
There are a lot of them that really talk about a particular movement. And now what they mean by a particular movement is, like, say they're doing, let's just use deadlifting for example. Okay, what they mean by the movement is literally the transaction of you grabbing the weights and doing the movement to lift the weights. Whether it's the bench press going like this, or deadlifting, or whatever the case might be, even squatting, whatever. They are talking about that particular action being the movement, okay? And so understanding how we can categorize and organize our movements in this fashion is another way for us to understand and to better take care of our body in that fashion. Because yes, when it comes to these drills that we like to do a lot, especially when it comes to gloving. You know, we get the finger roll drills. You know, you just constantly do the finger rolls. You learn to go backwards. You learn how to do them either way. Things of that nature, right? We learn all the different sets of movements when it comes to this. So this is how we organize. This is how we help newcomers build off of these movements, because they take these movements and they start interchanging them around with each other, and then they come up with new concepts, blah, 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 blah. The magic of gloving!
Stop it. Get some help.
Yeah, sorry about that. I know sometimes I get a little carried away, but you know what? We're supposed to be having fun here, so we're going to have some fun.
What? It was pretty funny.
What is wrong with you? Make it stop! Make it stop!
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
A few moments later.
Another thing I'll definitely want to stress, and it's because this particular thing, most people I feel sometimes take for granted. And again, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing that you take it for granted. It's just something that I think sometimes we overlook. Okay, it's something that we just don't necessarily always keep in the forefront of our minds, and it tends to just kind of get forgotten. And I'm not saying that this is a bad thing, this just tends to be a thing that happens. Okay, but knowing the tiniest little details when it comes to your concepts and your movements and your body parts and all that stuff, this is going to allow you to understand, create, and comprehend extremely complex concepts.
It's funny because it's true.
So, this is something I have been kind of alluding to in my episodes, because I know a lot of newcomers do like talking about it, and it's just something that I'm not ready to talk about in full detail yet, but I'm going to touch up on it right here because it's a really good example of this kind of part. Okay, micro tuts. Oh boy, am I going to get a lot of old heads yelling at me for this one.
Please don't.
So, micro tuts. The best way I describe micro tuts is literally having a very strong understanding of your body and its movements. Okay, when it comes to micro tuts, it's literally just taking what regular tuts do and scaling it down to a micro level and understanding how your body parts move to create these micro tut movements within your concepts. You're literally just applying the same ideas of movements, just on a different scaling effect, okay?
Why you pouring me? I'm right.
So, I know it's really difficult for a lot of people to understand that, but allow me to explain. So we got king tutting, right? You know, we got these big swooping parts. But then you got finger tutting, which kind of follows this, well, it does follow the same thing. It just operates on a different scaling effect, right? I can still do the same thing that I'm doing with my finger tutting as I do with my king tutting, essentially, right? That's basically the idea that you need to be taking from this, okay? Is that understanding how your body moves and how it operates and being able to apply that on different scales of your body, so arms to your hands and fingers, not only that, but then to your fingers to your little digits and knuckles. That's the idea. So we learn how to categorize not only from the digits, but we also categorize from the hands to the arms to the entire body. That's how we apply it to gloving, is that we learn to figure that part out. Now, one final part I want to talk about on this one is finding the limits to these parts and trying to break them is a good thing. However, one must be cautious and one must be careful, because you could hurt yourself if you do not understand, or you push yourself a little too far, okay? So, learn where your limits are first, and then build up onto breaking them. Do not try to break them immediately. I don't know if you guys actually remember any of these parables from like Greek history, but if you guys remember the parable of Icarus, which if you don't remember, this parable is the person who makes the wings, that if they went too high, the glue would melt, if they went too low, the feathers would become too heavy and they'll drown. So what happens? Icarus went too high, the glue melted and he fell into the water and drowned. That's basically the idea. So know where your limits are and work towards breaking them, but not try to break them immediately. Otherwise you're going to, I can't stress this enough, you're going to hurt yourself if you do that.
Okay, boomer. Thank you.
So please, please keep that in mind.
Many months later.
Okay, yep, I think that pretty much covers everything I needed to cover in this episode. Yes, this is a relatively short one because there is not a whole lot that goes into this category that we need to like have an hour-long discussion on because it is the body. If you understand anatomy and if you understand how the body moves, you're pretty much good to go in this category. It's just a good idea to understand the anatomy and breaking that down and actually getting that more intimate knowledge. That allows you to actually know how to work with your body more, okay?
75 years later.
And I certainly hope you guys did enjoy what I had to say. I certainly hope that you guys do take the time to actually do the research that you need to understand when it comes to these parts. Alright, especially when it comes to the Laban-Lewis analysis. That's something I highly suggest you guys check out because this is something that has been done for a very long time, for many decades, and it would be remiss of us to not take advantage of this, if that makes any sense.
Whatever you say, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
So, I certainly hope you guys enjoyed your time here. I certainly hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you guys have any questions that I did not cover in this episode, you do have the various social media outlets that you can hit me up at. You also have the comment section down below that you can hit me up on there as well. Don't see why that's a problem. And of course, if you guys do like the content that I make and you wish to help me make better content, you do have the wonderful opportunity to support me on Patreon. For God's sakes, people, I'm trying to give you guys free stuff for the littlest investments that I'm asking for. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and check them up right over here. There's a little thing there. You know where I'm pointing? It's somewhere over here in this section.
And I know that's not enough, so...
And so on.
Yep. So, I certainly hope you guys do consider supporting me on Patreon. I swear I'm doing my best here.
I'm trying.
Yes, I do want to say, once again, thank you to everybody who has shown their support. If you cannot support me monetarily, you do have the free options. And I mean, they're free options. You can help me at like, sharing, and subscribing, and just spreading the good word, people. Just let people know that I'm just here to help them get better into this. And have a more fun, enjoyable experience with this. Okay?
Please, this is serious.
So, yep, thank you guys for your quiet moral support. If it wasn't for you guys' help, I wouldn't have been as far as I am now. So thank you. But, yep, that is all for my episode. I am your host, Peter, aka LPD8 Dubuque, and I'll see you guys all next week.